There we go. Got that working. Got that working. What's up, Hive? What's up, Retsu? What's up, Insanity? What's up, Zesty? What's up, Do Not Reply? I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? What's up, Reg? How are you? I originally was going to play Chain of Memories, but I had the most absurd dream last night that I feel like I want to tell you guys about so bad, which is what spurred this whole just chatting. Hater, what's up? Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Hater. You were in my dream. Retsu, you were in my dream. Insanity, you were in my dream. I think it was because I was so deliriously tired last night whenever I signed out of Final Fantasy that it just kind of like, whatever happened from the FC kind of spurred into my dreams. Luke, what's up? How are you doing? Bruce, what's up? Elite, Tokyo, Wallace, how are you guys doing? Yeah, I have one hell of a dream. I was so excited to tell you guys about this too that it literally spurred the stream on. Hugo, how are you doing? Magic, what's up? Gasps, how are you doing? How's y'all's day been? How's y'all's week been, I guess, because we're back to Thursday. PR, you're in my dream too. You guys, it was one hell of a dream. I'm excited to tell you guys about it. What's up, Kevin? How are you doing? Tripping, what's up? We've missed you, Tripping. How are you doing? Drucifer, how are you? Seraphim, Pitch. How are you guys doing? I'm telling you, I was so deliriously tired last night playing Final Fantasy that I think I just like dreamed you guys into my dream world. Milad, how are you doing? How's your day been? No, my hair's not pink. It's just the color from my headset. I usually have it kind of like an orangey color, which comes out kind of red-ish. That's the only one that'll like pick up on my webcam. Willie, what's up? These are from Yowu. The brand is called Yowu. They're absolutely epic. I love them. They're by far my favorite headset. They also have like little elf ears. So when I go to the gym, my wireless headphones are like little elf ears, and they're also from Yowu, and they're the best that I have ever had. And also too, like it's not sponsored, it's a genuine opinion of mine. Black Mike, what's up? Pat, how are you? They're shorts. These are shorts I wear to school quite a bit. They're like paper bag pants that go around my waist, and then my black turtleneck, my leggings. You know how I do. What's up, Devil? How are you? Eric, how are you? They're super cute. Lout, what's up? We missed you, Lout. I made a little baby cocktail. I was worried it was gonna look like Pepto-Bismol on the stream, but it's pretty cute. Messa, what's up? How are you guys doing? Nemo, what's up? Nemo, you're such a good artist. I am so impressed. I am so impressed, Nemo. Hater, what kind of cocktail? It's vodka, amaretto, and then strawberry calpico, which makes it like this pink, kind of milky-ish color, I guess. It kind of matches my chair, but you guys can't see that too well. Yeah. I mean, well, technically I finished all of my midterms exams and stuff like that, so this is kind of like my, you know, my weekend, so why not, right? I was like, let me celebrate doing good on my midterms. Freaking awesome. Okay, so let me tell you guys about my dream. Let me tell you, because I feel like most of you guys are here. Okay, so this, once again, for those of you guys who are new here, I was playing Final Fantasy super late last night, and I started to get like deliriously tired. Like the last few nights, I feel like it's been one of those sleeps where like I blink and then I just wake up and I'm like wide awake, but then also still, it's like not satisfying in a way. It feels like I never slept at all, I guess. Cowboys, what's up? How are you doing? Uchiha, what's up? How are you doing? So anyways, there goes Kimchi. Okay, so I fall asleep, and the way it's gonna be very difficult for me to describe, and then of course like a lot of the stuff also doesn't make sense, so just bear with me. It's just that's the way that dreams are, right? Swami, welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so anyways, it begins, and the way that this dream kind of like this perspective of it all was, it was me watching all of these events happen, but I also was unable to change the situation, okay? So, how this all starts off is it's like an overtop view, and it's Retsu, Hater, Sin, PR, and Insanity. So there's 5 people here in this group, right? And so the way that I'm watching this is it's like they're walking down like this abandoned, overgrown path. And so they see this giant, like, dilapidated mental hospital, okay? So, see, that's the thing too, hater. I don't have like an actual statement of what you look like. I just knew for whatever reason it was you. I mean, it was just very abstract, I guess, in that sense. So here we have these 5 people walking into this abandoned hospital. And it's like so freaking beautiful. It's almost like, I guess I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring too. It's almost like what Raya Lucaria looked like very grand and beautiful, but also just like destroyed and clearly abandoned. Coffee, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here, like, our 5 little heroes go like down the path and stuff like that, right? And so anyways, they get to the front door. Of course, like, nobody's there. It's just, there's no lights or anything or something like that. Anyways, they like push open the doors and it's like so movie-like. Like, it is so Dark Souls-y. And so, anyways, as they like push into this hospital, it's like for some reason, like, they're looking around and they're seeing things, and like at first it's more of a situation of like, this is such a cool find, like there must be so much history and cool stuff here and stuff like that. But like as they got further into like the hospital area, it was like something happened. I don't know, it was almost like magically or something. It was very like Silent Hill, like whenever you think of like when the siren goes off and then everything starts burning and then things like start turning into like rust and stuff like that. It went like that, okay? I'm telling you, this whole thing played out like this crazy video game. So anyways, this whole situation happens where it's almost like the world is burning, but whenever it's kind of like recreated into this new area, it was like an old-timey hospital. Like, it was an old-timey mental hospital. And so for whatever reason, like the orderlies and stuff like that, they weren't human-like. They were like the monsters that you'd see in the cathedral ward in Bloodborne. Like, their proportions were wrong. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was very freaky about them, I guess. So those were like the orderlies and stuff. And so the entire time, like, you're overseeing these 5 people, but also it's like I'm watching this stuff happen and I'm like, oh my God, like, what is like going on? And so anyways, it's like the way these orderlies like come in and stuff like that, it's almost like this, I don't know, Bloodborne-ish ambush thing or whatever. And so anyways, they get pulled off to this other room, and then the person that walks into the room is me. But it's not me, because like well, it is me, but I'm also watching these events take place, if that makes any sense. Snake, what is up? How are you doing? How's your day been? So, it's like these orderlies grab you guys or whatever, and it's me who's in charge of this hospital. And so it's like super old school, like retro looking. I have like the white nurse's dress with like the white nurse hat and stuff like that. Striker, how are you doing? What is up? What is up? And so anyways, I start like interrogating you guys, and I'm like, where did you guys come from? Who brought you here? And I'm like, I guess you guys must be like new patients. And so immediately, all 5 of y'all recognize me, and you guys are like, B, you know, like, it's us, please, like, you know, it's okay, or whatever. And so, like, my savage response is, don't call me B. Like, I've nursed Antisera, okay? And so, I was like, take him away. And, so, they get taken away, I guess, you could say. And, they get taken to these rooms and stuff like that. And I'm like, put them in, like, you know, patient, you know, clothes and stuff like that. Make sure they don't have anything on them and so forth. So anyways, it's like fast forward a little bit further, and we're in like it's kind of like a sit down therapy talk thing. Like, think about like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I'm like Nurse Ratched, and I'm talking to you guys who are also like not crazy, but I also don't believe that you're not crazy. Kat, welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you here. I'm on a rant right now, but I will get back to the video game questions. No worries. So anyways, we're sitting here at this group and like I'm sitting there talking to everybody. And Sen starts talking about how like, no, like we were on this path and stuff like that. And we're like all friends. And for whatever reason, like all this crazy stuff started happening and stuff. And we don't belong here. And so my response is, of course you think you don't belong here. Rascal, what's up? How are you doing?
B, you look drop dead beautiful today. Have a fun stream.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Snake. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, Romeo? How are you doing? How's your day been? So anyway, since like, B, we don't belong here. And I'm like, of course you would think that. I was like, it's okay. And so anyways, I'm like, you've had your time to speak. Let me let this other patient have time to speak. And so that patient is like, I know, like I was just minding my own business and stuff like that. And people seem to think that I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. And so there's like this moment that I'm like viewing the situation and I can see Sin have like this mental battle within himself. Like he said like literally the same thing that I said. Like maybe I am crazy. Like maybe I didn't know all of these people like up until this moment and I just created this story, but it's not real. So anyways, Sin is having kind of like this mental crisis breakdown thing, okay? So the entire time, like they're trying to convince me that it's like, B, like it is us, please. But like I'm not having any of it, of course, right? So onward the time goes and it like fast forwards into like lunch and it's like the cafeteria and stuff like that. And so they're all like eating at the table together. And so after lunch and stuff like that, they go to like do a med pass, like, you know, to give everybody their medications and stuff like that. So for the most part, like nobody wants to take their medications and stuff like that. But the person who was making the biggest scene was Retsu. Retsu's like, I'm not taking the medication. And so anyways, they're trying to like talk Retsu into it and they're like, you have to take your medication. And so Retsu's like, I'm not taking the medication. What are you gonna do about it? Which was hilarious because PR is there and PR is like, dude, just agree to it. It's okay. Like, don't make a scene. And anyways, Retsu's like, I don't care. I'm not taking it. And so anyways, I end up getting called over there because like these orderlies, like once again, like they're not like humanly type orderlies and stuff like that. And so I tell Retsu, I was like, I will not tolerate non-compliance and disobedience. So I was like, take him to his room, restrain him, and sedate him. So boom, off Retsu goes. And so Retsu is like off in his room, just like a vegetable basically, like at this point. But that'll come back like at a later time. And so anyways, the entire time, like as these days are like progressing on, y'all continue to try to like convince me that I know you guys. And so it would be like little things because a lot of it, like you guys would say stuff and I was like, whatever, like that's so vague. But there was one time to where it was like one of the night times and I was like, you know, take them to the rooms, get them cleaned up, and then get them to bed. It's bedtime. And Hater was like, I can't go in there, like to the shower area. He's like, I can't go in there because there's shower demons in there. Which, for those of you guys who've played FC, like we talk about that quite a bit. And so he says this, and for a moment, like it makes something click in my mind. And I'm like, what did he say? What? But anyways, I was like, that was the weirdest thing. That was like deja vu. So anyways, as these days like start to progress and stuff like that, Insanity is shockingly quiet. And so this entire time, like I'm watching, so then after the whole Retsu incident and stuff like that, I was like, these five clearly know each other. I want them separated. I do not want them to have contact with each other because they're gonna come up with some plan, right? To like overthrow this hospital. So the entire time, Insanity is like super freaking quiet. But the entire time too, I'm like watching Insanity and like watching the things that he says and or does and stuff like that. And so anyways, he would keep like looking out of the window, like out to this whole garden area and stuff like that. And so one night, I knew he was gonna try something. So I go out to this area that he's always like looking at. And he's just always like, I don't know how to except the narrative view, it's like I knew something was going on. And so anyways, like I go out there and I find like this little stash in like the bushes of him like hiding things, right? That he could use to either break himself out or like use as a weapon and stuff like that. And so I'm like, of course, I knew he was up to something. So anyways, I find this stuff and I'm like, okay, so Insanity's about to be in some big trouble, right? Anyways, go back into the hospital, go to Insanity's room. Insanity's not there. So I'm like, well, this is unfortunate, right? So I start thinking about it and I'm like, these 5 clearly know each other. So who would they be, like, you know, going after, I guess? Zervire, of course I remember you. I haven't forgotten Valorant, I promise. I have not forgotten Valorant. I will be back. So anyways, I'm like, something tells me he's gonna try to like break out his friends and stuff like that, right? Like they're all gonna band together. So anyways, me and the orderlies go over to Retsu's room and there's Insanity trying to break Retsu out of the restraints. But the problem is that I didn't just physically restrain him, I chemically restrained him as well. So Insanity is like, dude, wake up! And is like trying to like shake him and stuff. He's like, we gotta go. But like Retsu is literally incapable of doing anything. He's just like a vegetable there in the bed. And so basically, the stuff just began to get like crazier and crazier. So Insanity upset me so much and I'm like, put him in isolation. Keep him away from everyone else. Like he's getting a little too crafty here, right? So anyways, boom, Insanity goes off to isolation. Seclusion, shall I say. And it was just getting like worse and worse. And so of everybody who was like fighting tooth and nail, because like Retsu was like getting irritated and he's like, B, I'm not crazy. Like I'm not gonna take the medication because I don't need the medication. Like I just stumbled upon this place. Like I don't have any issue. So out of everybody, the only one that's trying to like, I guess, get through to me in a sense was Hater. Like he's trying to get me to remember them. 19, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tripping, thank you so much for the bits. I really, really I'm telling you, it's crazy
Good Lord,
dreams.
I just dream about flying, and you're over here doping up your Twitch followers against their will.
The FC chat, to be more precise. FC. Hi, thank
Physical
you for the
restraint,
donation.
Chemical restraint. B. Can you butt cheekly restrain me? I won't even struggle.
Hi, thank you for the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Moscow, what's up? Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm kind of further away, so it's hard for me to read these things. My eyes are just so sensitive.
Did you know that if you count Polish cows instead of sheep that you'll dream of me? You will also need to wring out your duvet in the morning. BTW, in my version of the dream you say, don't call me B. I'm Nurse Dad.
Moscow, thank you so much for the bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So it would seem my dream about you injecting me and my fully blacking out was just my perspective in your dream. Crazy.
It's all crazy. So, but the entire time, like, the entire time that all this stuff is going on, like, we're doing, like what you would normally do, like, in a psych hospital and stuff like that. Like, nurses will hold, just like Nurse Ratchet and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We kept having these talks to where I'd be like, you know, you do belong here and stuff like that, and you don't actually know me. And poor Sin is, like, having this existential crisis about, like, is this real? Like, do I actually belong here? Like, is this all in my head? Or is this just, like,
So what I learned
not
about
true?
this dream is B is the final boss.
Yes.
She is a dom for sure.
I was basically the final boss. And the sad thing about it, too, is that I was, like, already kind of, like, all-knowing in a sense.
I'm
like, there
always
was nothing they
plotting
could do.
Antisera. Always plotting.
That's why I put you in seclusion, Insanity. I put you in seclusion. And so anyways, at some point, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like talking about Lovecraft or something like
So
that.
you dreamt you had us in your dungeon. I had a similar dream with you minus the fella's lol Antisera nosebleed.
PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank
Hi,
you.
Miss B.
Chad, long time no see. Thank you so much for being a sub for 20 months. I really,
oh my
really
dear
appreciate
lord,
you.
I apologize for not paying my dues to the queen.
That's right, pay your
You may
dues.
take me to the torture chamber and
I'm
punish
kidding.
me at your will. My only request is the nurse outfit and those lovely glasses. All hail Queen Bee.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Envy, we've missed you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're just in time for one of my dream rants, I guess. There was something like during one of the sessions that Hater was saying things that were like very specific things. Like he was talking about like certain Lovecraft books, like Wuthering Heights, all that kind of stuff. Like these literature things that I'm like, how would you know? And he would always be, he's like, you see? He's like, I know that you recognize what I'm talking about. But to me, I was like, that's so weird. Like, that's so uncanny. But I also can't let him believe that he's right. Because I'm like, he can't be. He must be a patient. It's impossible for him to, like, be some other version. Or all of y'all be some other version. And so to me, I'm like, that means nothing to me. But I knew that somewhere, I was like, why would he have thought to have said that, right? So, it's like, it becomes like more and more like freaking pure chaos and stuff like that. And like the entire time, PR appears to be following protocol and stuff like that. But then like, I ended up raiding his room and all of his little pills and stuff like that were stacked everywhere, so he wasn't taking his medication. And the entire time I'm like, you need to be like PR. I was like, look, the perfect example of a patient. And he had that super thick New Yorker accent, just always so freaking optimistic. Jonesy, thank you so much for being a sub for 18 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So anyways, like the last scene that ends up happening is I feel like I start getting fed up with this entire situation that's like going on, because it's like these 5 end up coming here and all they do is like they create chaos. And so anyways, fast forward to like the end scene. I feel so bad. It's poor Hater in this chair and I'm about to do a lobotomy. And the entire time, poor Hater is like, he knows that there's nothing he can do. Because like, I have these otherworldly, orderly things. And he's sitting in this chair and I have this syringe. And the entire time, PR for somehow made it out of the hospital. And he's like watching this entire situation happen, like through the glass, because he knows something is about to happen to Hater, but he just also doesn't know what is about to happen. So he's like outside on the glass, like banging on the glass, trying to get my attention and stuff like that, because he's trying to save Hater from the lobotomy I'm about to perform on him. And it's so sad because Hater's like, B, please believe me. Like, I know you. B, please. And then I woke up. It was so sad, right? I mean, we don't know whether or not you got the lobotomy, but the entire time too, it was like this giant clash in my mind of like, how do they know this information about me?
Bianca,
so
what
crazy.
could we have asked for more with real-life fantasy and cocktails? Best way to start the week is your adorableness. What community could beat us with pure entertainment and you?
See, I was like, I started remembering like bits and pieces of this whole like dream, and I was like, that was a pretty interesting dream. You know, pretty interesting dream. Pretty curious. But DX, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it. Thank you. This won't be a very long stream. It's literally just like basically a rant. And I like how the whole topic of this is like to talk about your favorite video game, which we can most certainly get into now.
Straight up. I want to turn this into a D&D one-shot now. This is so epic. Also, I see you know to take me out first. Smart
You were
choice.
non-compliant, Retsu. You wouldn't take your medication.
I am
to
so
date
glad
you.
to be back on this channel.
BZ, welcome back. We're so happy to have you here. We've missed you. I I don't know. I just had like a crazy last few weeks.
B,
I don't know if
don't
I'm just
feel
sleep
bad.
deprived. more so than
Lobotomies are a
usual.
pretty standard treatment for bratty submissives.
Yeah, that's right. Fall in line, hater. Fall in line. But it was so sad because like everyone was trying to come up with like plans to escape and to like get out of there. And
B, you wanna
the
make
worst
this
part
dream
about
a
it,
reality. Amen.
Insanity, thank you so much for the donation. The sad thing about it too is there was like one situation where it was like a horror movie. It's Insanity and PR together in this hallway, like at night, like way past curfew when they're not supposed to be out because they're trying to make a break for it. And it's like at the end of the hallway, you can see me in my little nurse silhouette or whatever. Like I already always had like the jump on him, right? Like I was like this sentient, all-knowing being. But it's like at the end of it, they had no choice but to like go through this tunnel area. But I also didn't have any ability to like stop them until the orderlies came later. But
I
the
will be the
sad
DM
part
for that
about it,
adventure.
Wallace, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you. And BZ, thank you. It played out like a game. Big time. Big time. The
Why do
sad
I
part
feel like
about
this
it
is a plot of an actually game?
is Insanity and PR get to the end of the tunnel and they have like.
If you want to
I'll
play
let
with
this
my
play.
brain and lobotomize me IRL, I'll let you slice my skull open and get knuckle deep in me memories. Embed yourself deep in my brain, please.
Hater, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. It's like at the end of this tunnel area, there was a way to push past me and like get to safety-ish. Maybe. Who knows how that would have played out. Or the other way was like the orderlies. And the sad thing was like even though they were in a mental institution where I had later put Insanity in seclusion, I had medicated Retsu, I was going to lobotomize Hater, still PR and Insanity wouldn't like hurt me in a sense to like get past me to leave. Like they still didn't want to hurt me in a sense. Like, and I know this as like the sentient like narrator of this story, which is so heartbreaking. That like they had a chance to escape, but they wouldn't do it at the cost of hurting me, which is so
He's
sad.
saying it's her dream, but we
It's
all know it's in the
terrible.
realm of Cthulhu the Great Dreamer.
Cthulhu, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was so sad because like at the same time too, they were capable of knowing that it was me, but I didn't
Of
know.
course there is always one
a
person who has a
difference.
mental breakdown and it had to be me, not like this.
It's not just like that, Sid. You're the only one
Have
who
you
was like,
seen the new Nurse
you might be
Ratchet?
the crazy one.
Personally, I
I
hated
have.
it because I despise that actress. But how do you feel that show's lore fits in with the real Nurse Ratchet in one Fludakor Kubanunu?
I enjoyed Nurse Ratchet. I enjoyed it a lot. But I feel like they're two completely different things. I don't really feel like it's a Nurse Ratchet origin story to a sense. Easy, thank
I
you
would
for
have
the
rushed
bits.
the orderly.
Thank you. Sin. I don't want it wasn't a mental breakdown
He had
at
to force
all.
a mental breakdown in me because I was getting too real in her dream.
It wasn't it was user, welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you here. It was more so to where like you're sitting there and you're like, that makes a lot of sense, B. That makes a lot of sense. Cause I was like, I would repeat the things back to you that you would say. And I was like, okay, so you were somehow randomly on this abandoned path and you came across this hospital that you're saying is dilapidated and there's no patients here and stuff like that. And then magically, now you're here and you just sit there and you're like, that's, It's like, when you say it like that, that doesn't sound too good. Zito, thank you so much for the sub. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was a pretty rough dream, I guess. I mean, I personally felt bad for the entire situation.
Wait a dang minute. Did I not have a gun on me during all of this?
No, and then anything you had was taken from you, whenever you guys came to the hospital to begin with. But I felt so bad because it was like there was part of me that was like kind of coming back to who they were talking about. Like, because you guys were referencing things about me, where I was like, how could they possibly know this, right? Like, from stream or, like, Final Fantasy chat or whatever. Like, you guys would say things where I'd be like, how do you know that? But I'd also be like, you're wrong. It was sad. It was crazy. It was one hell of a dream. I very rarely remember my dreams. Very rarely. But these last few days, I've just been, like, deliriously sleepy.
Wait, anything I had? Did you take all my clothes from me? Was I naked when you lobotomized me?
No, you had your little patient outfit. You had, like, little scrub top and scrub bottoms and stuff like that. Hi, why so tired, busy days. Yeah, I mean, it's just been one... It's been one thing after another. One thing after another. It has been absolutely ridiculous. That's one of the things too. I'm like, you know, it's March. I'm gonna get back into so much. But then every time I try to do something, like, craziness befalls me. And one of my family members recently got in trouble with the law 3 times in the span of 2 days.
So the moral of the story is,
ridiculous.
if I become non-compliant with your wishes, you are putting me down immediately.
Restrain him. Restrain and sedate him. 3 times in the span of 2 days. 2 days. Like, when I got the phone call and stuff, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And it's not just 1, not just 2. It's 3. You know? Always ridiculous. But anyways, that's craziness regardless. Let's get into the video games. Let's get into, this is something that I was thinking about earlier. And if I had to, like, rank my top 5 games, specifically from, like, childhood and stuff like that. Easy. Thank you.
Murphy
so much.
likes to play.
Easy. Thank you so much.
Your cousin? He go to far to the Chad side?
I can't say exactly who it was. But it's always
Just
an
do what I
adventure.
did, pretend to comply, but really be lurking out B's window.
All the, like, mushy pills and stuff like that you were, like, hiding under your tongue to, like, store in your room. Anyways, yeah, so I've been thinking about this the last few days, trying to, like, put together what my top 5 games of my life would probably be. And a lot of them are relatively old, and I say that because, once again, I feel like nostalgia plays a massive role in it.
That's it, I am getting you the tail plug to be up your butt as much as everyone else. This coming from the jealous guy not in your dream. Please don't ban me.
Well, thank you for the bits! Thank you. 3, what's up? How are you doing? How are you? Literally, beach volleyball. DX, I deserve a couple cocktails. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And then plus 2, this is kind of like a celebration of getting my midterms and stuff like that done. So I'm kind of like on a break, mini break. I still have assignments and stuff that I have to do, which is kind of like voluntary, but I still need to get them done anyways. Okay, so we talk about games. Let's see. So for 1, I definitely have to say Kingdom Hearts 1. We've kind of gone over that quite a few times thus far. Easy! Franchises!
Can we
Thank you for
top
the
5
bits.
franchises
Thank
instead?
you. Okay, so the first one has to be Kingdom Hearts 1. Secondly, out of all time, I'd probably have to say Bloodborne, even though that is a relatively new. So we have Kingdom Hearts 1, Bloodborne, specifically for the Lovecraftian vibes, Victorian vibes. 3.
Hive's favorite game is playing with Shano Mimosa's emotions. Second favorite game is his pee-pee. Lululul pog 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 pog. Ue a pee-pee hog hog wee.
Hi, thank you for the donation. Thank you. Okay. Let me think about these for the last... Yeah, okay. Kingdom Hearts 1, Bloodborne. What did I say for 3? Did I come up with the 3 already? I did, right? It just slipped my mind. Have I not said 3 yet? I could have sworn I just said the third one. I guess I didn't. Weird. Yeah, you guys are on point on this stuff. Let's see. Kingdom Hearts 1, Bloodborne. I'd have to say the first Fable, Bioshock, and Sly Cooper 3. No! I also want to add Psychonauts in there, but I don't know where I would rank that. Yeah, I don't know where I would rank that. I don't know where I'd put it. But the interesting thing too is about like Kingdom Hearts, we've kind of like already gone over that in a sense, to where it's like this whole, it's like a very, I was trying to explain this too to my cousin's girlfriend not too long ago, like at the funeral of all places. And I was talking about how like at that age, which a lot of us are kind of like from the same age range, generation-ish, kind of, where like you were basically like the same age as Sora, Riku, and Kairi whenever you played Kingdom Hearts 1. And then for you to have like this whole dynamic between Disney versus like an actual story and like trying to like save the world and so forth. I mean, it's a very interesting dynamic. You like Kingdom Hearts 2 better than Kingdom Hearts 1? No way. You have to give me your rationale on that, please. FG, where have you been? We've missed you. What have you been up to? You used to always be here and you just freaking disappeared. Yes, I do want to hear you out on this Kingdom Hearts 2. When it comes down to Bioshock, I thought it was a very interesting concept where it's like they have this place that's like not bound by morality, as Andrew Ryan would say, and what happens whenever you don't have morality, whenever it comes down to like science and engineering and so forth. So it's a very interesting look at the way the world would be if we were to just throw morals out of the window. Like, it's a very interesting quote. I'm probably not going to quote it the best, but it's like, you know, how do I even want to express this? But I can say Infinite was absolutely gorgeous, but fell very far off of what I wanted. 2 was okay. I liked Lamb. Lamb was cool. But whenever it comes down to Bioshock, I've always thought that that was very interesting because I'm very much so that way, to where like whenever you're looking at science, it's very hard for me to pull like morality away from just pure research, because you can use it for bad
Final
or good.
Fantasy VIII, Renoa and Squall romance is adorable.
They are
2,
so cute.
Legend of Dragoon 3.
Good job.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is topped because of the battle mechanics with the forms. 4, Pokemon.
Hold on. I want to make sure this stuff is going. There we go. I click this off. Retsu, I love Kingdom Hearts 1. That said, Kingdom Hearts 2 pulled a huge amount of story gaps in world design. There was a amount of world development and story expansion. See, I felt like all the worlds were extremely empty. Like, specifically Mulan. Like, that looked like something that came out of, like, Gary's mod from, like, Steam back in the day. Like, to me, it was very, very pitiful. I felt like the worlds were very not fleshed out. Silent Hill is definitely in my top 10s, Luke. I may even rank that, like, Silent Hill as one of my favorite movies. But whenever I think about each individual game, I don't know if I could say, like, each individual game would be there. But then, once again, too, like, if we're talking about franchise, I can understand that a little better. FG, what's up? No Ocarina of Time. I enjoy those games, but I do not think that I am anywhere near the amount of a fangirl towards those games as the majority of people will. Like, you know, there's some people who like live and die for any of like the Legend of Zelda games. I'm personally not one of them. It's I don't know. I mean, that's probably like one of the biggest things. Not that I dislike them, but I don't hold them in my heart as strongly as I feel like most people
yes,
do.
Mulan was empty, haha. I'm meaning more on the world building of like what Heartless are, nobodies, and how the core world works.
But it started to
If a
get too
game does
crazy
that,
for me.
I love it.
It was good, especially in like Twilight Town. That was interesting to have nobodies.
What about
for
board
sure.
games?
Lawless board games. I have to say, like, my favorite basic game is Clue. I love Clue. But then past that, I played a lot of Warhammer 40k back in the day, which is like a tabletop game. Big time. I used to spend a lot of my time after school and high school just like painting my little figures. Kingdom Hearts, in my opinion, went way too out there. Like, whenever it started, I guess, in 2. So 2 with the nobodies and stuff like that, like, that's understandable. But as they began to go, and they started to get into, like, dream drop distance and how, like, the worlds are sleeping and then they have, like, dreams and stuff like that, like, it started to get too ridiculous and too silly to me. I feel like there's a lot of ways that they could have gone that wouldn't have just been lots of little, like, lore bits that didn't have much weight to them, personally.
Monopoly, who doesn't like destroying friendship?
Beasley, I haven't played Monopoly in so long, and I've been trying to get people to play Monopoly with me. I have, like, my Fallout edition Monopoly, and I've yet to be able to play it. So what I'm thinking is the next time I can play on, like, a camping trip or something, I'm gonna bring my Fallout Monopoly. Yeah, and so, to me personally, I feel like Kingdom Hearts just went, like, way out there. And then it's like, I really like Aqua and Terra and all of them. But I mean, it's all, like, I can understand that portion to where I don't want to go into too many spoilers. I understand that factor, and I enjoy that factor. But then it's like, when they start going into, like, Xion and stuff like that, I just felt like that was just, like, way, it's just, you're grabbing for straws, you know what I mean?
Warhammer is awesome. If you go to England, visit Nottingham, the HQ. There is amazing. They have a tavern that is amazing in it.
Is it specifically Warhammer that I assume, not 40k? No Space Marines there? I always played Sisters of Battle, but we used to have a games workshop in, like, this area that I live in, and then, like, basically all of them closed down, sadly, which is unfortunate. Because I used to hang out there all the time after school to paint my little figures. And then now that I don't do my Warhammer figures anymore, I do miniatures of, like, houses. I like to get a lot of them imported from Japan, and I'll do, like, these little tea houses, and I have, like, a little takoyaki shop thing, and so I make, like, these tiny little replica building things that I really enjoy.
Let's see, my top 5 would have to be Spyro, Tomba, Rugrats, Search for Raptor, KH1, Gears of War.
That's interesting, Sin. I love that, actually.
Every single stream you say something that absolutely amazes me. B, don't stop being amazing.
What did I say? I'm gonna lobotomize you.
My top 5 in order. Medal of Honor, the 2010 reboot. The story breaks me every time and helped solidify my career choice. 2 Mass Effect series. 3
Mass
Need
Effect
for
is
Speed
awesome.
Underground 2.
I played that, yes. Forza Horizon, all of them. I've never really been too much of, like, a car game type person. Oh, Warhammer, oh yes. One of the funny things is, too, is back in the day, I used to read all of, like, the little novels and stuff like that they have for Warhammer. Specifically, Warhammer 40k is what I played, which is, like, the futuristic version with, like, the Space Marines and all of that kind of stuff, which is sad, too, because, like, back in the day, they had these magazines that were called White Dwarfs. And when Sisters of Battles came out, like, they didn't have their own codex, so you had to basically buy these white doors. So I always had, like, this magazine with me because that was my codex. I didn't have, like, the actual codex that everybody else kind of, like, had. But I remember specifically my dad would get so mad at me, like, just going to, like, go and paint these figures and stuff like that. It was just, it was just hilarious. But yeah. I enjoyed 40k quite a bit. Very, very fun. So for Medal of Honor, yeah, I never played those. Mass Effect, absolutely outstanding. Mass Effect will always have a special place in my heart. Need for Speed Underground was good. I played some Gran Turismos back in the day, which was hilarious too, because I'd always race with a Mini Cooper. Never win, but I always thought it was hilarious. You're a White Dwarf reader? I don't know Dragon, to be honest with you. I remember one time in high school, I was somewhere, I was at like a party or something like that, and we were talking about something, and I don't know how I got on the topic of Warhammer 40k, but I remember specifically, I was like Papa Nurgle and his Nurglings. And everybody was laughing at me, and I was like, it's a real thing.
Epic, take a drink. Says Loboto me chug. Hand on chin, take a shot.
Wallace, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. I might need to make another one of these soon. But then again, like, it's gonna be relatively a short stream. Armin, Dead Space. I'm not a crazy Dead Space person, personally. I enjoyed them, but it's not something that it's like, I guess, super, super memorable for me. But it was interesting.
My favorite nurse bee.
Graphics, thank you so much for being a sub for 14 months.
My top 5 in no
thank
specific
you.
order. Halo, Destiny, Zelda OOT, Bioshock and Gears of War. Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed are special mentions.
Yeah, man, I was obsessed with Assassin's Creed. I have all of those novels as well.
I would say for my top 5 would be Gears of War 2, Mario Party 5, Left 4 Dead 2, Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Strikers Charged.
Let's see here. Gears of War 2, Mario Party 5, Left 4 Dead. I was never a huge Left 4 Dead fan either. I feel like that was, I guess, hot take, but I felt like it was way blown out of proportion. It wasn't bad, but I also don't believe it deserved all the hype that it got. Don't hate me. It's just an opinion. PR, Halo, I can understand that. Destiny, how long did you play Destiny? Because I really enjoyed Destiny as well, up until, and it's funny too, even in Final Fantasy quite a bit, I'll be like, oh, my light level's not high enough, and it's not light level, it's item level, but I get it confused between Destiny. But when like at that time, I guess, I don't know if they ever changed it, but like you could only have 1 or 2 exotics or something like that. I don't know. But that ended up making me stop playing it. And Halo, Destiny, Zelda, understandable. Many people's favorite. Bioshock, definitely. And Gears of War. Yeah, Gears of War was definitely interesting. It's all roided
Zelda,
up.
Dota, and those games on the back of a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Tripping! Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Video games that test friendships? Mario Kart Smash Bros. To start with.
Well, thank you for the bit. I got a funny story about Mario Party, but I can't say it.
I played Destiny since the beta and I still do. I just recruited at Insanity Struth to my clan laughing face.
So why do you play Destiny 1 over Destiny 2? If I may ask, or am I misunderstanding? Did you migrate over to Destiny 2? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding. You still have unopened copies of Gears of War and Halo. Are they worth anything? One day I'm sure they will be. One day.
Top
I wouldn't
5,
sell them now.
FF7, Legend of Dragoon, Legend of Legaia, FF14, Because of You, and Minecraft.
Ah, so sweet. Final Fantasy VII is out.
I would love to have a debate with you on which is better between Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
I know
100%.
You're more of a Silent Hill fan while I'm a huge Resident Evil fan.
Hater. Final Fantasy VII, epic. Legend of Dragoon, I feel like we've talked about this in the past a little bit. I'm aware of the game, but I've personally never played it. Legend of Legaia, I know that one. That was very interesting for its time, I guess, with the combat system and so forth. Final Fantasy XIV
Holy crap, it's
awesome.
been 20 months. Time flies when you have the best streamer ever.
Time does fly, doesn't it? Insanity. Thank you so much for being a tier 3 sub for 20 months. That's crazy. We're almost at 2 years. Isn't that insane? That's so crazy.
Well, it's Destiny 2, but I do miss D1, and yes, still only 1 exotic allowed. Sad face.
Yeah, see that? Very unfortunate.
Which FF7, the original or remake?
I personally have to say, I love both of them, don't get me wrong. But
So
I have
talk
a
of games at
major
the funeral
place in
law.
my heart.
Cousin's GF a gamer? Is your
No,
cousin
she's
and other
not.
family members? Play with them at all?
Yes. I'll go into that here in a second.
I would do anything for you to stream Legend of Dragoon as your first playthrough.
Hater, thank you for the bit. Maybe we can do like a nostalgia stream.
Turtles in Time, Armored Core 4, FF7, NFSU1, Apex.
Is it Turtles in Time or what is it? It goes prehistoric Turtlesaurus or something like that.
So, here are my top 5 most impactful to my life but
Apex.
not favorite. Minecraft, GoldenEye, FF7, Kingdom Hearts, and Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. These games, literally
prehistoric Turtlesaurus. Hello, thank you so much for being a sub for 34 months.
Antisera love, Antisera love.
Even when I didn't stream, that is epic, Aloe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see here. Wait, there's something I wanted to answer, but I can't remember now. Oh, yeah, Luke. You asked me between Silent Hill or Resident Evil. Personally, okay, this is another thing. DX, you were talking about All of Us Are Dead or whatever, that Korean zombie show recently.
It's
I watched like 2 or 3
TMNT
episodes.
Turtles in Time.
I remember prehistoric Turtlesaurus. BZ, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate you. Aka, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. First off, Aloe. Have to thank Aloe. Aloe, thank you so much for contributing the gil that you gave me towards the FC chest when we lost all of our gil. Aloe, thank you so much. We are so close to getting back to where we were. We've made a lot of progress. I am really proud of what everyone has contributed. It is outstanding.
Y'all are sleeping on Super Metroid and Castlevania, Symphony of the Night.
Castlevania, most definitely. I've personally never been a Metroid type fan. I played the most recent one on my Switch. I was traveling somewhere, I was on some contract, and I remember I played that, and I feel like I got to the end of it, but I don't think I ever beat it. I love Samus, but I've just never been a huge Metroid fan. Okay, so back to this whole Resident Evil versus Silent Hill. My thing about that is that I enjoy the psychological aspect of Silent Hill and how it's like, what did you do to end up in Silent Hill? It's a very interesting...
In ascending order, Fallout 76, Bubsy 3D, Superman 64, E.T. on the Atari, Sonic 06.
Hi. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. So, Aminimaru, what's up? How are you doing? And Allie, what's up? How are you? Yeah, so I've never been a very big person into like the whole zombie scene. Like even The Walking Dead, to me personally, it's
my top
almost
5
laughable.
HENTI heroes: FAPCEO, Pocket Waifu, 3DSEX Villa, The Fister.
That are alive! Extreme Beach Volleyball is not on there, Moscow. Come on. You have to be a man of culture. But yes, I'm not a person who particularly is a huge zombie person fan. Like to me, it's like if a dog can figure out how to open a door. You want to tell me that these zombies just like sneak up on you and stuff like that? I mean, I think it's very interesting because I do enjoy virology and I do enjoy viruses and so forth, but whenever it comes down to that type of stuff, it's just not my cup of tea. To me, it almost becomes like cheesy, like the things that I don't know. And I do love Resident Evil, don't get me wrong.
Speaking of Sonic, sometimes my butthole gets so itchy that I fantasize Sonic crawling up there and charging up a big spin dash to satisfy that itch craigasm.
Red Dead Redemption,
What
yes!
is your favorite
Forgot
beat 'em
about
up
that.
without tides?
Oh, well, my favorite one is Dead or Alive. So you say take tids out of it.
As a big fan of The Walking Dead,
Soul
I agree
Calibur?
it is
That's still
laughable,
kinda-
but that's what makes it great and bad.
PR, thank you so much for the bits. Kuro, thank you so much for the bits. I actually competed in Soul Calibur back in the day, back when I worked at GameStop, believe it or not. I know, I said it both kind of still works. Yeah, and it's funny because I made it to like the end of this one competition, and it was up against me and my boss from GameStop, and we were both like 1 hit left, and he beat me. Sads. Sads. I was gonna say something, and I forgot what I was gonna say. What were we
Have you
talking
played
about?
any fighting games? I've been a huge fan of Street Fighter series.
Yes. Now, the biggest one for me is Dead or Alive. Secondly, I would have to say Soul Calibur. I was never really crazy about Street Fighter or Tekken. Mortal Kombat was like okay. I feel like it was more of like
Top 5.
the arcade era.
Not in any order. Castlevania series, after the SNES, Pokemon series, Fire Emblem series, except Echoes, Shin Megami Tensei series, and
Like Dragon Warrior and Dragon Warrior Monsters. What's interesting too is that like you can tell the type of games that somebody likes, like the type of game
Family
they're looking
gamers?
for based
Smiley
on
face.
the games that are their favorite. I mean, obviously, understandably, but still. Practice, thank you so much for the follow.
I am
really
sorry we are
appreciate
back
you.
to talking about going up bus.
Oh, Pat,
This
right.
is my fault.
Pat, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate you.
Your
Good
parents must be
options,
drug
Minmaru.
dealers. Because I'm addicted to what they made.
Insanity, thank you for the donation. Thank you, thank you. Wallace, thank you for the bits. BZ, thank you for the bits. What's good? Thank you so much for being a sub for 20 months. Thank you, thank you, thank
I
you.
miss my Street Fighter tourney days.
So, family. Yeah, my
Hi,
dad was huge into games. Like, specifically, he's still basically very huge into Counter-Strike. And I was always like the son that he never had. And like back in the day when like LAN centers were huge and stuff like that, my dad would always take me. And I remember I was so tiny that like the headset wouldn't even fit on me. So I would have it on one ear and the other one would just like hang off like down here because like my face just wasn't big enough. But yes, my dad has always been very, very big into gaming. My little brother, he's not like my blood brother, but he's pretty big in it as well. Like specifically MMOs, me and my dad used to play them like crazy. I swear I've played like basically every MMO known to man. And then every now and then I could get my brother to play some things. Like when I played Lost Ark recently, he came to Lost Ark as well. I've had family members, cousins, my dad and stuff like that who have played Final Fantasy and so forth. Yes, I did play Mew. No, I lied. I got that confused with something else. I did not play Mew Online. I apologize. I got that confused with something else. I know of Mew Online, but I have not personally played it. Phil, welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you here. It was absolutely beautiful, but however, I am not a fan of those isometric camera views. Y'all have taught me this word because I didn't have it in my vocabulary prior to that. Even like with Diablo, I love Diablo, but I hate
Bunny
the
Hop
camera.
were so cheap.
Beasley, thank you so much for the bits. Kendi, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, my family has always been pretty big into it. Pretty big. Specifically like Lineage 2 as well. Like my whole family was just like this Argentinian terror on the server where we would literally just like PK everybody. And I don't know why, but like that's just what Argentinians do. They ask for money, or Adina, which was in L2, they ask for money and then they PK people. Like they just like to make things complicated. That's just what Argentinians do. How did you play Snake Eater? I played Snake Eater twice. The last time I was stuck in my house
What
for
about
Harvey. I was stuck in
Ragnarok
my house for like a
Online?
month. Yeah, Ragnarok, I don't think I was as obsessed with that as a lot of other people. One of my friends back in the day was huge into Ragnarok. And I feel like Ragnarok was one of those things that was like more so like the community and talking to people than it was like actual combat or
Got to go blind date
storylines.
tonight, have to get ready. Escape room time. Night, I'll see you tomorrow.
Cal, thank you so much for the follow. Wallace, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you,
WoW
thank you,
fan
thank
at
you.
all?
Get it, Wallace. I believe in you. Best wishes on your date. Pack, yes, I did play WoW. I played WoW basically all the way up until Burning Crusade. And then I came back a little bit for like Pandaria, and then I dropped off. But I was always Horde, which is why quite a bit I'll wear my Horde necklace. I actually just had this necklace made It's a heart with like a, you probably can't see it. It has a pressed flower in it, and it has the red mage symbol, because you guys know I'm the best red mage in Eorzea. But yeah, I had this made.
I like the psychological aspect of Silent Hill 2B. My support for Resident Evil is its very in-depth storyline and strong-minded, fearless characters like Jill and Chris.
Yeah, but then also too, Luke, I feel like what happens with Resident Evil quite a bit, I feel like I keep pulling this around. Did any of you guys see the new Resident Evil movie, perchance?
Are you a camera?
Hmm?
Because every time I look at you I want to smile. Well, I'm off to go meet
so
my mom's
sweet.
for some sushi lunch. Don't forget Bug's Life the video game. Epic childhood game.
Yes, that was so good. Sin, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy your time,
Getting
Sin.
food, so don't stop till I'm back. Also, I still can't believe you competed in Soul Calibur. I was a top 500 COD Black Ops player. Till I started failing classes, haha.
Isn't it sad though that things like Modern Warfare 2, like from back in the day, like you'll never experience something like that again? And there's beauty in that, right? Like you have to live in the moment to be able to experience these things. But I wonder often about like what game that I'm playing that I'm gonna think back and have this nostalgic feeling about. And I feel like a lot of that is probably Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 14, the Final Fantasy 7 remake, and possibly Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring a lot. I do have to say though, I feel like Elden Ring is one of the easier Soulsborne games. To me, personally. I feel like a lot of the things too in Elden Ring, I don't fully know how to express it. I enjoy it, but it's
My
also
favorite
odd
game to
being
play
open
with fam
world.
and friends were the Halo LAN parties. Xbox Live just isn't the same.
Yes, I understand that. When I think of that era, I think of like my modded Xbox and like going into like Hollywood Video, and I used to like rent 2 games at a time, and then I would burn them to my Xbox.
Hello, nurse.
Wizard, thank you so much for being a sub for 3 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you doing? We haven't seen you in a while. How are you? How are you? Yeah, you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to do that. Like to have a modded Xbox, but did it anyways. And I loved it. I loved it. Which was interesting too, because like I'd be there like every day getting 2 new games, and then 2 new games, and then 2 new games. I remember that specifically, like getting Fable, and I remember like the cover art of Fable. And I would always get the barbershop girl to be my wife, because I always thought she was like the cutest one. Yeah, there was a Hollywood Video and a Blockbuster, but I personally have always preferred Hollywood Video, personally. It just seems like it was like more kept together. It's just like kind of nicer. Blockbuster was just like always constantly a mess. Is that Allie with the white name? All my stuff is light, so it's all like white. I can't see white text. I assume that's Allie, but I also don't fully know. You had a modded PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 would probably always be my favorite console. I'd probably have to say. Lopez, what's up? How are you doing? You hate dark mode? Yeah. It's harder for me to see. I usually will have things in lighter colors. It's just easier for the contrast for my poor delicate
Blockbuster
eyes.
was like Walmart to Hollywood Video's Target.
Yeah. Basically, yes. Yes, back. I remember one time too, I had saved up, I think it was like 10 bucks or something like that. That was a lot to me back in the day. And I bought like this, it was a Sailor Moon like card game thing, and I bought it and I was so happy that I had it, but I also had no idea how to play the game like at all. So I just like had this thing that I had wasted like all my savings on, even though it was like 10 bucks. And I was like, I have no idea how to play this game like at all. It was ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. It's crazy too, because you never would have thought those things really would have gone out of style, right? And then it's like Redbox came along, and then it was just like Netflix, and I was just all tanked. Light mode murders your eyes. There's Allie! There. I feel bad now. If I didn't read what you said, Allie, it was only because I couldn't see your text. I apologize. Oh, and then also too, talking about Naruto, I remember, okay, so first off, I remember reading Naruto in my Shonen Jump. And I remember one specifically, it was like the very beginning of Naruto whenever it like hit in Shonen Jump. And I was like reading through it, and it's the part that you think that Kakashi dies from Zabuza, even though he doesn't actually die. But I remember it was like me and the Argentinian caravan were all going to go camping. And I was like sitting here with my book, and I was just like so distraught. I was so disturbed over that whole situation. But I also remember buying the manga, like the first one back in the day when it finally came to like Barnes and Nobles. Loved it.
I still have the Naruto pilot episode DVD from Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, it's crazy that you were there at the beginning of it all, right? And I also remember trying to like save everything that I had, like all the quarters, all the dimes, everything, so that I could buy the first Naruto game.
Orochimaru was
sucked.
definitely snake deep in Sasuke's tight little Uchi hole.
My god. Shane, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Favbit in Naruto?
Curl, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Let me see. My favorite bit. I don't know if I've ever thought about that. I'd probably have to say like the whole, oh, Sasuke and Naruto's fight. It was like episode like 331 or something like that.
I totally agree with you about the
335,
Resident Evil movies. It's not as great as the games, but then again, it's rare to see a video game made into a movie a success.
Well, yeah, because a lot of the things too with that actress, I forget what her name is, but she's freaking gorgeous. That like really wasn't canon to like literally Alice. Well, Alice is the girl in the show. I don't know what her name actually is, but yeah, it's not like canon to anything really. The
My
books
nephew
are,
is
though.
just starting to get into manga, anime, and I can't wait till he starts Naruto or One Piece, and I can tell him I read the first chapters as they came out.
I remember that too. One Piece and Naruto. The thing with One Piece is that One Piece just kind of like got crazy long. I mean, I guess Naruto did too. Nia, yes, that girl. Yes, I think she's gorgeous, but yeah, the whole movies like don't really add much at all. Jiraiya is just always gonna be my favorite character. I love Jiraiya so much. But I like to have, and like My Hero had a little bit of this moment too, like Bakugo versus Deku, where it's like you do have a rival to where it's like they're your friend, but they're also your rival, and it's like you're almost fighting, you know, like to know your place. I love that dynamic, and I also really enjoy the fact that like Itachi wasn't like evil, but that must have also been the hardest thing that I mean, it's just the feels, and then it got into Shippuden, and then it was just ridiculous. But then even too, like whenever I was younger and there would be like filler episodes, I wouldn't even recognize they were filler episodes. Like I was just so happy to see anything Naruto related. Anything. What's up, Yankee? How are you doing? Ali, you miss Bleach? Yeah, I mean, I miss Bleach too. I think I saw up until like 200 or something like that episodes, and then it just started getting too ridiculous. Too ridiculous. Black Rice episode said, I know. And I didn't even want to believe it was real. I was like, this is impossible. No. Oh my god. Or like, oh, what is crazy too is like when Naruto is fighting Pain, like at the end, I'm not gonna talk about it. However, what I am gonna say is that like Naruto fighting Pain, and like this entire time, like he's always like lusting after Sakura, and then freaking Hinata shows up and just gets ragdolled across the area. I was like, that was so heartbreaking that she knew she couldn't win, and she still did it anyways. Like Hinata is like S tier, and Sakura is like definitely F tier down here. But that was so sad. Like he literally just, and she just, there goes Hinata. Hinata's freaking epic. Sakura is just, Even Ino, too. Like, whenever you look at the women and stuff like that, and how Ino would do her little thing, and then she was, like, talking to her dad. It was so sad, but at least she was, like, she could help. Sakura is just, She's not it. She is just not it. Insanity, she will always be, like, definitely up tier. I literally think any female that you could probably think of could whoop Sakura, no problem. And the entire time, too, Sakura would be like, I'm at a disadvantage, it's because of this, and it's because of that I can't win, instead of just realizing that she sucks. She'd lose every time. Tintin would wreck her, are you kidding me? Tintin has to at least be like one of the most OP female characters. Hands down. Tintin would wipe the floor with Sakura. Wipe the floor with her. I know, I like it when we just get into like this whole Naruto, I know, Lance! At the time too, Sakura's like, yeah, I can finally like stand up with the guys, and I'm like on par. It's like, girl, no, sit down. You are so far outclassed. It is laughable. Laughable. I don't think she was OP at all.
Be My Fav games are Gauntlet Dark Legacy, Gun, S4 Oblivion, Fallout New Vegas, and AC2. There are many more, but I'd have to give you a rain check for that.
Very good choices. Gauntlet, I definitely understand. Gun, are you talking about like Guns with the Z? Like the online shooting game? Because I loved me some Guns back in the day.
Since we've pivoted to anime, what are your faves? Other than MHA, obviously.
I would have always have said Death Note was my favorite, but now I'd have to say favorite is My Hero. Secondly, I'd probably say Death Note. Third, and I'm talking about like from childhood and the impact that it had on me throughout my life, so I'd say Inuyasha was like everything to me back in the day. Everything. Let's see, and then when we're going, I really like that time I got reincarnated as a slime, but that's very recent, but I really enjoy that. I crack up constantly. Hagi, yes! You guys know, like, whenever you had to have, like, that perfect, like, movement and stuff like that, Guns was everything back in the day. And it was full of, like, cheaters and modders and stuff like that, but it was so good. Gun, it was a Western game? No, I must not know, because Guns was Korean, I believe. But, yeah, very, very good. They're making a slime movie?
They are making a slime movie, B.
I have all the Death Note movies and everything, and my books from Death Note, like even the written ones and stuff.
Top 5 anime are Full Metal, Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and Overlord.
I really enjoy Full Metal. I think I definitely enjoy Full Metal, the original, better than I enjoy Brotherhood, because I feel like Brotherhood is sillier. I really do enjoy, I don't know, for like the last 2 slots, I'd have to say Naruto. You know what? I'd have to say Naruto's 3. Yeah. Naruto's 3. So then I would just need one more. What? I really like Fruits Basket as a young girl. Tenchi Muyo. Tenchi Muyo would have to be the last one. Gaming, I haven't finished Psychopath. I don't even know, Psychopath. I don't even know if it is finished, but I have seen quite a few episodes of it. Zesty, the overhaul fight, and even going through it like crazy. Martin, welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for the follow. Hi, thank you so much for the donation. You and that super book. That's like some animated Bible thing.
5. Super book. 4. Dragon Ball. All of them. 3. Full Metal Alchemist. Not Brotherhood.
I can agree
2.
there.
Case closed 1. Great teacher Onizuka.
Onizuka makes like the best faces. I love GTO. I always say like Great Nurse B instead of
Fate
GTO.
series,
Great Teacher
Naruto,
Onizuka.
Death
Great
Note,
Nurse B.
Code Geass, Bleach, but only first 3 seasons.
I can understand that.
Top 5. Resident Evil, Tenchu, Street Fighter, Rainbow Six, and Overwatch. Oh, and the My Hero One's Justice video game is awesome too.
Did you play Tenchu Wrath of Heaven? That is the most epic opening of any video game like
I
ever.
literally have anime on all day at work lol. I even did the first movie and will do the second after season 4.
That is awesome. This is super epic.
I just recently watched the time I got reincarnated as a slime in a Discord watch party. It was so good and even better with people to watch with.
Yeah. 100%, I agree.
Top 5 anime RDB Naruto MHA Jujutsu Kaisen and Cowboy Bebop.
Those are good ones. Those are good ones. Definitely good choices. I was just about to say something. What was I talking about? I forgot.
By the way, happy 69th day of 2022 Antisera Teehee.
PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. DX, you are making such good progress. You're making such good progress. What happened? Why'd you stop watching My Hero? Oh, that was also another thing. So about Final Fantasy VII, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII, the original. However, with the remake, I have to say one of the reasons it is
Top
so
5,
important to me.
No Order, DBZ, Trigun,
I love
FMA,
Trigun.
HXH, and Demon Slayer.
I was a huge Trigun fan as well. Big time. Big time, big time. I like the part where he has like the little headphones in and he's just like in his own world. It was pretty epic. He's like about to walk into a bar or something like that. But for the Final Fantasy VII remake, I was in Japan right before it launched. So I have like a ton of gear and stuff like that, like merch that you can only get there. And like I have like a Shinra jacket. It's kind of like a raincoat type
My
thing.
personal
I have
top
a ton
5
of
anime
Shinra
is
stuff.
Hajime no Ippo, Dragon Ball, all of them, Rising of the Shield Hero, Berserk and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
All very good choices. Very good choices.
Also changed my mind about Apollo in an EP. He is now goated. Starbucks still a sleut.
Starbuck is like a major sleut. Major sleut.
Time to date myself. Anime. 5. Bastard 4. Record of Lotus War 3. Golgo 13-2. Lupin 3-1. Bubblegum Crisis.
I don't know Bubblegum Crisis. But I do know two of those. King, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Hi, would you work for Umbrella if they approached you? You best believe. You best believe. Who are we even kidding? If I said no, you know I would lie. There'd be no way, of course. Oh, of course. You know, that'd be crazy. If I ever had like a research lab or something like that to get like government grant money, it would 1000% be a reference to Umbrella. Like instead of it being Umbrella, it'd be like Parasol or something like that. Would it have like the same look to it? That'd be epic. Kuro, Haikyuu. I could never get into Haikyuu. I just couldn't. I didn't feel like they really dealt with many issues and it was a little too silly for me. But yeah, you know what, for sure, I'd be like a part of Umbrella's, what is it? Umbrella's countermeasure defense thing or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know exactly what the terminology is. You best believe I'd be a part of that. Best believe. Yoda. You always call me Bree for some reason. I'm not Brianna. But we've missed you, Yoda. How are you doing? How's your day been? We have missed you. But yes, undoubtedly, I would most certainly be a hater. Are you Brianna? It's funny, like the last contract I was at, I got called, I think Brianna was a big one, but there was a Brianna and there was also me. And so people would call me Brianna. And so every time people would say my name, I would always come up with like a different thing than what it was. And I feel like the last one I said, I was like, it's pronounced Britannica. Like a Britannica. But I was always coming up with something. If you worked for them and got infected by a flesh-eating virus, I would still think you're the most beautiful woman on the planet. You're so sweet.
Runner-up,
I have a story about flesh-eating viruses.
I was getting way too excited at the sexual tension in that show. Prima ballerina hive.
I liked Yuri on Ice. Thank you so much for the donation. I really enjoyed that show, and then ever since that came out, it was like a massive influx of all these youths joining figure skating, because like I'd be at the rink like practicing and stuff like that, and it's like everybody was in there, and everybody was in like Yuri on Ice like outfits and stuff. I thought it was hilarious, which is adorable. At least it brought more of a, you know, interest into figure skating to begin with. Wait, what was I just talking about? Oh, flesh eating. Necrotizing fasciitis is the term that we use. Well, it's like literally the medical term of it. However, back when I was in the OR back in the day, this was a general procedure. So general procedures are like appendectomies, where they take out your appendix, all these types of things. They take out your gallbladder, hernia repair, like these very basic things, okay? So anyways, we had a patient at this point that when I went to like palpate the patient's thighs, like let's say here, right? So like whenever I went to like touch here, it was so hard. It was almost like touching the wall or something like that. I mean, it was very taut. Yoda, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. So at this point, me and the doctor, you have to get CTs, you have to get blood work, all this kind of stuff done, which was interesting because we both thought that this was like a large amount of burn as well as scar tissue. So anyways, by the time we had taken this patient back to the OR, and as soon as we have, usually whenever you start, there's a thing called cut time, which is literally when you have the scalpel and you make the incision. When we made the incision, we found out at that point that this was necrotizing fasciitis. You can specifically understand what it is like from the smell of it. We of course had to send off cultures and so forth. But as we nicked the thigh...
Wait, show off how you palpate your thighs be in great detail, please.
Hater, thank you for the bits. Thank you. thank you. Wham, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. As we went to like, it was a tiny like little incision. Let's say like right here. So if you have like your midline of your thigh, so you make an incision like right here. As we did that, it was like somebody had a hose on and it was pus just pouring profusely out of the thigh. And so at this point too, when we thought it was scar tissue, we thought it was burn tissue. There was several other factors related to this whole issue, which is why we did not believe it was necrotizing fasciitis to this extent specifically, which also it didn't add up, because when you're looking at your blood panels, like her or his like white cells, like WBCs should have been skyrocketed, but for whatever reason, they weren't, which is all very perplexing. And so anyways, too, like to stop the bleeding and stuff like that, we have a thing that we typically call a bovie, but it's an electrocautery. And so it's basically like this little pin that you electrically burn some of the blood vessels to stop bleeding. And so anyways, like with the burning of this necrotizing fasciitis, it was absurd. Like I've never seen something like this in like my entire career, where we thought that we basically had like all the info that we needed. And then at this point, it was just like literally dead tissue from necrotizing fasciitis, also known as flesh-eating disease, that was profusely pouring out of my patient. Crazy. Interesting times. Very interesting times in the OR, always. Sketch, working the OR ruined your appetite for barbecue? Yeah, I can smell that smell anywhere.
So we cut this chick's leg open and puss gushed out like a hose, you could smell it. B, never change. This is why I'll never leave.
Hi, thank you for the donation. Neck, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. Sketch, yeah, that smell of burning fat tissue and burning skin is something I will never forget. It's funny too, like even walking around at a new hospital for a new contract, I'm like, I know where the OR is, because I know what burning human skin, hair, and fat tissue smells like. I know what it is. It doesn't curb my appetite at all, though. I can eat my entire
if you get
lunch.
That, can't spell it. Best be prepared to pucker up.
Girl, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, but it doesn't kill my appetite. Nothing medical kills my appetite. You know what, though? The one thing I can't stand, though, is eyes. 1000%. Fully and wholeheartedly. And anytime, too, they'd make me do eye procedures, it would freak me out because you have, like, this entire dressing where the patients are not a full sedation so that we have to protect their airway. They can still protect their airway themselves.
My mom is late as usual. We talking top favorite animes now? Mine are My Hero, Your Lie in April, Mushishi, Deadman Wonderland, and Tokyo Ghoul Season 1.
I'm reading Tokyo Ghoul, but I haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul yet. I haven't watched Your Lie in April, Mushi, haven't seen that, or Dead Man Wonderland. I'll need to check those out, because I haven't heard of those, actually. I've heard of Your Lie in April. That's about the only one. DX, have you been to the morgue in the hospital? I've been to the morgue many times. Many times. And little known fact, for those of you guys who don't know, the first master's program that I was in was forensics.
B's just like, point me to the most puss and maggots. I want to eat lunch and watch the maggots
Like
squirm.
I said, puss.
I am gonna put my
puss.
fingers in there, too.
I love maggots. I love
This
all
is
the gross
Noragami
stuff.
Arigato. This one is unreal. Watch it if you haven't.
I will definitely write that one down. For sure, Kuro. For sure, for sure. Hater, thank you for the bits. Kuro, thank you for the bits. Yeah, I like bug infestation, wound care, and so forth. And it's funny too, because anybody that I've done maggot therapy on will swear by it. They love it. It eats the dead tissue and so forth. Yeah, so back to the whole forensics thing too. I've done a lot whenever it comes down to forensics. I've done a lot whenever it comes down to death investigation related to ballistics with physics involved, because you have to have a physics background to be able to really get into ballistics. PR, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, PR. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate you, PR. Thank you so much. Harley, what's up? How are you doing? How are you? How are you?
Go watch Mushishi for sure. It's about helping people in theory of life based on there being supernatural nature spirits, basically.
I'll need to look into that then for sure. It sounds very, very interesting. Very interesting. I need some more animes to watch. Yeah, I always like the gross things, I guess, in medicine. I love death investigation.
Well, my call for D&D just started ringing. Sadly have to go early from another just chatting. Have fun with the rest of the stream and see you all tomorrow.
Zesty, thank you so much for stopping by. I really, really appreciate you. Especially because I'm basically just ranting today. I really appreciate you, Zesty. I hope you have a ton of fun on your D&D night. Eminemaru, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Big O was epic back in the day. I liked his little, like, maid lady. I remember, too, I had gotten a poster when I was little. I can't really remember what anime it was.
Also, you lucky this stuff doesn't bug me when I eat either, haha.
Ratsu, thank you for the best. Thank you, thank you. I had, some poster that I had gotten from some, like, magazine or something like that. And it was, like, some anime girl. And I remember, like, one side was, like, this girl in, like, full armor. And the other side was, like, this half-naked girl. But I had liked that anime, and I can't recall what it was. And so I had, like, a poster of it, like, on my wall. And I remember my mom would always be like, what the hell is this? Why is this on your wall? And I just, once again, just like Dead or Alive beach volleyball, I was like, I don't understand what the problem is. I think she looks cool. What are you talking about? I just had no idea about any of this stuff. I I just had like a very scantily clad anime girl on my wall because I was like, but she's cute and she's pretty. What's wrong? I don't get it. My God. Such innocence. I know. And then both my sisters like girls as well, which was hilarious because one time we shared a room and we had like a giant rainbow flag in our room. And I still never put it together. I just didn't get it.
Smelling nothing but 5-day-old poo baking in 120-degree weather, you can push past any smell and eat.
Insanity, thank you for the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Insanity. It would be so funny though, because like they would always protect this one girl and I was like, why are you always like protecting this girl? It's just ridiculous. Craziness. DX, did you like the forensic side when you were doing it? I enjoy death investigation, but the bulk of forensic nursing is not death investigation, which is one of the reasons why I ended up deciding that that was not the program that I wanted. And I can go into that at some point at a later date, but a lot of it was a lot of things that I can't necessarily like agree to, and I didn't like, and it didn't align with like my own morals and my own mindset. Fabry, how are you doing? How are you? How are you? Yeah, Allie, Dr. G, yeah, and she doesn't ever wear a mask or anything. I love that. That she can just like handle the death and the autopsies with like, it doesn't care about the smell or anything like that, because it doesn't bother me either. I can handle dead bodies like nobody's business. Joe, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, she'd have like a bone saw out and everything, like just no facial protection or anything. It's freaking epic. She's a legend. I love her to death. Big time memories. I feel like people get immune to those smells. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that I can smell a lot of medical smells that I feel like most people don't pick up on. I can smell blood from a mile away like a freaking shark. I can also tell you if it's like fresh blood or old blood. I can smell a staph infection. I can smell cellulitis. I'm telling you, it is insane. My nose is extremely, extremely delicate. And I know what these smells smell like, just like cerebral spinal fluid I can smell. All of that stuff. I can smell it. It's ridiculous. It is insane. Hi, how many people in your family ask for treatments medicine? I'm definitely always the go-to person. 1000%. I'm always the go-to. It's a constant thing, which I also don't mind. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind answering these questions, but sometimes I'm like, you're gonna ask me for advice and then you don't want to believe me. Then you want to go and get like 5 different opinions from 5 different doctors that all told you the same thing that I told you, and yet still you don't want to listen. So, you know, preferably I like to keep myself out of that. There are certain family members too that have a slew of different issues, and I'm always like, don't talk about medical things with me because I just don't want to get into it with you. PR, what's the question you get asked the most? I don't know. That's a good question. I'd have to think about that one. I would really have to think about that. I have no way death smells worse than PAX. Any type of convention smells terrible. It is like a raging, just poor hygiene and like BO. But this death, a truly decomposing body is a very, very rough smell. It's almost like biologically instinctual for you not
My God,
to like
you're
the
pretty.
smell. Pepino, thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so
It
sweet
has
of
to
you.
be. Want to go on a date with me? That has to be the most common question you get.
That is a pretty common question. Can say. Can say. You know what, actually?
Funeral
Let's
planner,
see.
medical go-to. Family member goes to jail 3 times. Dot, are you the go-to for anything in your family?
Yes, I am very easily the matriarch of everything that goes on, Pack. Big welcome to the stream. We're so happy to have you here. How are you doing?
The question B gets asked most is a toss-up between, will you marry me? And, does this look infected to you?
I have to honestly say, medically speaking, the question that I probably get asked the most is, am I the nurse, I guess? Because a lot of times people think that I'm far younger than what I am. I get that quite a bit. I guess I don't necessarily look my age, I guess. But a lot of times too, I've been told like, I'm too pretty to be a nurse, or that I can't possibly be the nurse, or I'm too young to be the nurse, or something like that. And I'm like, I have been a nurse for many a year now. I am far older than I appear, I promise you. Which is interesting too, because like my students and stuff like that, I'm like, I have been a nurse with way longer than they have, but it just because they're older than me, it looks like they have more experience, when in reality they don't.
Yes, you don't look 84. You don't look a day over 60.
Pack, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Is the most common question as, do I get you moister than a oyster?
Fizzle, we've missed you. Where have you been? Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, I get that question quite a bit. Or they'll
One
think
year
the
at
tech
ECCC,
is the nurse.
we got annoyed, so we set up a stack of free travel antiperspirant for players.
I'm telling you, some people have some very poor hygiene. I was helping out a friend of mine not too long ago who had never been on a date before ever. And I was like, boy, you better take a shower. You better brush your teeth. Don't show up looking like a mess. I was like, because I know you, dude. You better get your act together. But yeah, quite often people think that I'm too young to be a nurse. Or it's always like, oh, is it actually like Grey's Anatomy or something like that? I'll get that one quite a bit. Or if I work with a young doctor, they'll be like, oh my god, it's just like Grey's Anatomy. There's nothing like Grey's Anatomy, but okay. Yes. Why would you have to tell someone to take a shower? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Be 3 more games, Jack 2, Jack 3, and Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
I am a huge fan of all the Jack and Daxters, and Oddworld, big time. I was a huge fan of it. Now, the most recent one that came out, I was not a fan of, but I think the Stranger's Wrath is the one that it's kind of Ratchet and Clank-esque, where you have different animals and stuff like that for like the guns and such that you're using. And it was like more of a normal type camera view and stuff like that, not like kind of like the side scroller that the most recent one was. Am I remembering correctly? Maybe. DX, have you been asked why you chose your field? Yes, quite often. Quite often. I mean, quite often too, people will tell me like, you have no business working. Like, why did you even go to college? And I'm like, what a question to ask somebody. Like, how dare you try to like educate yourself and contribute to society? Like, am I just supposed to be a face here and just not succeed at anything in life? I was like, or also does it freak you out that I enjoy
B, and then a close second,
you know?
Filipino nurses.
Filipino nurses are epic. A lot of my favorite nurses are Filipino nurses. They are epic. Outlaw, what's up? How are you doing? How are you? How are you? But yeah, I've gotten that quite a bit too. Like even, there's a difference too, because sometimes people can say that as a compliment. They're like, oh my god, like you're so pretty. You shouldn't, you know, you should go model or do something like that or something. Like there's kind comments, and then there's also, I've had the other side of it where I've had doctors tell me that basically like, you know, you're a woman, like you shouldn't do this, or if you are gonna do it, you always need to be at bedside. I mean, it's just,
yes,
it's
yes, the bounty hunter game,
say.
First-person, third-person shooter with the crossbow.
Yes, yeah, and you put like different animals, right? Like you have different bolts or whatever, but they're all like different critters. I know what you're talking about. Ali, do you like watching paranormal shows? Yes. What was it? Ghost Adventures with that Zach guy or whatever. It's like a crew of 3 of them. I loved those back in the day. I loved those. But I would also love to hang out at like cemeteries and stuff like that. I have always been very inclined and interested in death. I thought for sure that I'd have like my own funeral home or something like that at some point. And who knows, maybe when I retire I will.
What group of friends are more interesting to hang with? Nurse friends or physics friends or gamer friends? Which have the more interesting convos?
Pack, thank you for the bits. First off, I don't have many nursing friends because the majority of them are toxic. And that's not even just, I'm not even just saying that just to say that because I know that's a stereotype. I mean it in true genuineness, that I think that the field is so toxic that it bleeds over very easily onto somebody who is not strong enough in themselves. Because for them, it's like, you know, we're social creatures like humans are, and I'm an introvert. However, whenever you look at humanity as a whole...
How has no one mentioned Toe Jam and Earl in their top 5?
I love Toe Jam and Earl. Yes, yes, yes. Kuro, only Mocha, and Mike. I love Mocha to death, and Mike is absolutely freaking epic, even though he's a doctor. But we do align a lot on our medical views and stuff like that of the things that we've discussed. Never had an issue with Mike, never had an issue with Mocha. But the majority as a whole, the field is so toxic, so what it ends up being is it's like you either conform or they're gonna try to eat you alive. And if you're not strong enough to stand your ground, it's very difficult to be the outsider doing your own thing. So it's easier to conform, which is why I feel like a lot of nurses are very toxic, which is also why I believe that like the nursing field as a whole has this whole nurses eat their young type situation, which is ridiculous to me. Because to me, I'm like, if you're gonna dedicate your life to helping others, why would you be so terrible towards people? And I mean, even the way like at the nurses station, the way that some of the nurses talk about their patients, it's like, why did you even get into this field? Because it's very obvious when people are in the field for money and when people actually genuinely care. Like, this is a human life with a whole issue, like this whole history of things that have happened from childhood to adolescence to their adulthood and all these complex factors. Like, so if you can't see somebody as an individual and all this path that they've gone, and then you just see it as like, I'm really freaking annoyed because you should have gone to your PCP. You shouldn't have come to the emergency room. First and foremost, what constitutes an emergency is subjective, right? So what is an emergency to me, being a trauma nurse, is not going to be the same type of emergency as somebody who has no education at all. You know, you shouldn't make people feel stupid for trying to do the best for themselves or for their family members. But what you can do is sit down and educate them and tell them what to do when this happens again, and make sure that there's not a life-threatening issue. So I'm just saying, the medical field as a whole, I have never come across such a toxic field, and it is not for the weak. I had a friend too who wanted to get into it. I was like, I can tell you this right now, you're not capable and you're not strong enough to fight that battle, okay? I mean, it's not an easy one. What was the other one? Physics friends or gamer friends?
Do you think toxicity in nursing is a hurdle to getting new nurses into the field?
Certainly.
Who would have thought a field dominated by women would tear each other down?
Right? Who would have thought? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an aspect of it. There have been many nurses and like even students
House would disagree,
that don't want to do it. I love House. House is so epic. Kuro, thank you for the bits.
I agree with that, B. When I hang up my white coat for the day, I shut it down. That took years for me to develop. I go back to being King Corn Poop, smiley face.
King, thank you for the bits. Yeah, you have to be able to separate work from your personal life. But there's definitely an aspect, I've seen it a lot too, and this is, I have given many speeches as a guest speaker
Gotta go.
to nursing
My daughter
students.
wants to play some Uno. It was fun hanging with you on a chatting stream. Good night,
Drusifer,
everyone.
have fun. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much for the bits. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. But yeah, so what I say often is that like I had such a terrible experience when I was a student and when I was precepted. Nobody ever tried to help me learn better. Nobody was ever like calm, and felt like I could ask questions and stuff like that. It was so bad to where I could understand that people would just say, screw it. Like, I just don't even want to do this anymore, which is a terrible thing because you already have the theory, right? And then now you're in your practicum.
Where are you a valedictorian?
Kuro, thank you for the bits. No, I've never been valedictorian. Actually, we had a whole scandal in my high school back in the day related to that. I've always been top of my class, but I was not valedictorian. And I had a lot of factors I feel like that contributed to that. I did not have a very easy, I don't know, that's a very interesting topic, but specifically to like the whole issue that came about with the whole valedictorian issue in some of the schools that I've gone to. Okay, But yeah, okay, so that was the toxicity. Oh, my shoe got stuck on my desk. Physics. I love having physics conversations. Now, what I can say, our physics students are probably about the most awkward students in any college campus you will ever find. They're so awkward. So awkward. And I'm truly, there's very few females in my physics department currently, but it is quite astounding how it's like, you are so smart, but whenever it comes down to like your social capability of communicating with people, like severely lacking, severely. Akra, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've actually had a lot of computer science majors transition into physics grad school.
Oh, not as bad as us comp sci guys. No women there either.
Yes, a lot of computer science, they'll get their bachelor's in computer science, and then they'll apply for physics grad school because many things, like physics, you have to code regardless. Of course, we don't do it to the degree that you guys do, but it overlaps very often, very, very often. But it's very interesting.
When I was young, I had an accident with a knife. I almost cut my tendon to my thumb on my left hand, and I got 9 stitches now. I have numbness along my thumb to this day, lol.
Yeah. Nerves are notorious for having numbness
Bianca,
forever.
can I say you are killing it doing a chatting stream, or it could be the cocktail. I always learn a little bit of knowledge from you. You are my true hero during this time. Thank you for always being a kind-hearted soul who cares about.
I wish I had another one. I'll make another one after this. DX, thank you so much. And Eric, I'm sorry you got hurt.
I can imagine a huge classroom with a small amount of guy students all surrounding B's desk ready to offer a pencil Antisera LUL.
The majority of my classes, well now, specifically like with Omicron and so forth, everything has basically shifted.
Yeah, I had to get a
basically
physics
no
minor
campus.
because of the ties with quantum and parallel processing.
Yes.
The geek factor was high in both.
Yeah.
Lol.
It is crazy. Chevy, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. Respawn, thank you so much for being a sub for 19 months. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, so now, like,
hey,
I want to say, Respawn, we're so happy to have you here. Let's see, when was it? I want to say like halfway through last year, they started kind of like opening campuses up quite a bit. And then like with Omicron again, everybody freaked out and the campuses closed quite a bit. So now it's not nearly the same as it was, like having class in person. But for the majority of the classes that I have taken throughout physics class, I'll very easily be like the only female there. Or if I'm not, I'm certainly the minority in it, which is fine. It doesn't matter your gender, your affinity towards Phoenix. Phoenix. I think I got confused with Kali Linux and then physics, and then it somehow became that. But anyways, I feel like it would be awesome to get everybody into physics more. I feel like it's such an interesting thing, and I feel like a lot of people, like it's applicable to so many people. But then also too, I mean, it's a lot of mathematics, so it's a little difficult, but the physics department is a very fun time. And which is funny too, because like not too long ago, it was homecoming time, and I was like, can you imagine? I wasn't able to go, but I just thought it would be interesting, because I'm like, man, you can freaking pick out the physics department so easily. So easily. But, and then lastly, the gamer friends. The gamer people, typically, I feel like I relate better to, because gaming is a stress reliever thing to me, and it's been a massive part of my life for a very long time. And a lot of that, I have to say, like, to my dad, because my dad has always been very big into electronics, because in his country, like, they didn't have nearly the amount of stuff that America had. So whenever he came to America, it was like an overload almost, and it was so interesting to him. So that's kind of how I got into gaming to begin with. Anyways, but when it comes down to gaming, I feel like you can understand somebody's mindset and talk to them a little better. But when I'd say like nursing, they're typically my least favorite people to talk to are other nurses. And then secondly, I enjoy conversations with physics people I can talk to them a lot abstractly about physics or mathematically and so forth, but just like the concepts of how the more you learn, the less you know, and how maddening that is. Like, it is borderline maddening. Physics is so absurd. But when it comes down to gaming and stuff, I can relate better in a sense of like whenever you're talking about things like Kingdom Hearts and the feeling of this game and like the moments and stuff like that. It's like we're sharing these experiences together in a sense, because I've experienced it and you've experienced it too. And though our experiences may not be identical, they are somewhat similar in a sense that we can bond over them, compared to like, I can have a conversation with you about physics and it'll be okay in a sense that like I can explain these things to you overarchingly and like overly simplified and so forth. But I'm not expecting you to get physics on the level that I get it. Same thing with nursing. I'm not expecting you to get nursing or trauma in the way that I get it. And so, I mean, it's very interesting. In a perfect world, somebody would have like two of those factors, right? Like, I love physics and I love gaming. It would be perfect to have it together because I feel like I can communicate with you better. Because if you take something like, I love, theater. I'm not a theater person at all. So it's like, if your big thing is like theater, and I love classical literature, I love art and so forth, and like I love the Louvre and France and that type of stuff, but I mean, there's some things that I just like can't like express myself with, I guess, in a sense. So preferably it's easier to communicate with people who capable of relating to you better, you know? Yes, you're having spare ribs, my honor. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I don't know what I'm gonna eat yet.
The best way to explain physics to the layman is to start with, consider the Lagrangian.
Moscow, thank you so much for your bits. Thank you. And PR, thank you so much.
Yesterday at Hater01 asked me what I'm liking the most about FF14. Easy answer, the FC in our epic Dungo runs.
Moscow, you always say such interesting things. I mean, you said that you majored in physics as well, Moscow, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. PR, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is one of those things that like just enjoy the ride, because you don't, I mean, there are some story pieces that are more interesting than other portions of it, but you don't ever want to rush through it. Like, just take it at your own pace. And the beauty of that is like we're all playing the same game.
What do you think the next big innovation in video games will be, and what would you want it to be?
What would, yeah, Curl, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you.
Do you like to fear?
Do I like to fear? Like, do I like to be scared? Is that what you're asking? Now hype on what the next big innovation is gonna be. I feel like multiple times we've tried to get into VR, like specifically with like Resident Evil, like before Village. It was interesting to have a game that was fully in VR. However, we do seem to still be very far from like true VR, which I felt like at some point in my life I will experience, and I hope that I get to experience.
The Louvre, I loved it. Favorite artists or types? Picture you as a Baroque fan. I personally love Impressionism and Surrealists.
Yes, I 1000% agree with your take on your preferences,
To
Pat.
fear D's nuts in yo mouth. Sorry, lol.
Girl, thank you for the bits. Like how that was like
The
right
next
after
big thing
facts.
in video games. I want to punch toxic people in the face over TCP, IP.
Hater, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. Okay, so I have like a love.
I did major in physics, and the reason you find that I say such interesting things is because you have the hots for me. It's better that make you aware of such biases.
I have the hots for your Polish cow, Moscow. Thank you for the bit. I felt like I remembered that correctly. Okay, so whenever it comes down to virtual reality and so forth, I have a very interesting, I don't know, almost like fear about that as well, because I feel like I would want nothing more than like VR, right? Like you talk about like .hack type levels and this whole like place where you're seeing these people and you're able to interact with people. Like, if you could imagine, like, having an MMO, but then also being fully immersed in it. But the issue is, too, it's like this, I fight with myself a lot of it with, like, lucid dreaming and so forth, because I believe I've never been able to lucid dream, and I have tried many times. I actually wrote a thesis on it, actually, as a treatment. However, when I say, like, lucid dreaming, I know myself in the sense to where it's like, if I could have this perfect world where my personal life wasn't so just full of chaos and so much with my family and so forth, but, like, would I ever want to wake up? Like, would reality, because reality, it's like whenever you look at things in pictures, like the colors and contrast, everything is so vibrant. And so if you could take something like lucid dreaming or virtual reality, why would you ever want to wake up? You know, because you can be whoever you want to be. It's almost perfection. So at that point, yeah, like, why, at what point would reality lose its worth to you? You know? I saw Inception way back in the day, but I can't fully remember it very, very much. Dead or Alive Beach
VR. I've invested in an immersion VR facility in Cleveland nearby NASA Glenn Research. One step closer to holodecking. Kinda. We use for entertainment and IRL simulations.
King, thank you so much for the bit. Thank you, thank you.
The ties with VR into companies like Elon's Neuralink is at the doorstep to what you're talking about. Like, sex may be better in VR, which could be problematic to the race.
There's many things that I think are problematic in our society that we've become desensitized to, which I feel like affects our standards, our morals, our virtues, many, many things. But yes, I mean, Neuralink is very interesting. I highly, highly enjoy anything that I read on it. However, it is very, very concerning. I would love to work on Neuralink. Would I actually get Neuralink? Probably not. But I would love to be one of the researchers to develop it and to test it on willing candidates. But yeah, I think overall it's would almost cause like an existential crisis. And I think it would create a society of like shut-in people. Me included.
What's pink, wet, and begging to be slurped?
Oh god. Eric, thank you for the bits.
For the record, said immersive VR facility invested in has not, nor will not be used for sex purposes. Sorry, Hive.
King, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you.
Well, that then gets into ethics and philosophy B. Because I would like to think that humanity would still want the real human experience instead of the quote ideal existence unquote.
But when the false reality is better than reality.
Antisera love, Antisera love.
Phoenix, thank you so much for being a sub for 13 months. I really, really appreciate you.
I'm depending on you in combining physics and video games to come up with the next innovation or next best thing. I believe in you.
I'm trying, my friends. I am trying, Luke. Don't you worry. Edward, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. Eric, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Insanity. The real human experience.
A strawberry milkshake. What were you thinking of?
Eric, thank you, thank you. A real human experience. I mean, the issue with that, I feel like, is it's just like if you look at Instagram and you see all these people that are not, it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing all these people in all these ways that they're so altered, but then that becomes the norm. And then it's like you watch movies
Neuralink,
and that becomes the norm.
Psychology, though, of accepting the chip as simple marketing, scary. We're going down that road and it'll be interesting because the haves would have a higher level of access than the have-nots.
Yeah, I mean, it's like some dark, Black Mirror, is that show? Very interesting things. I'm not gonna say that it can't be used for astounding things. However, it is also very concerning. But whenever you come down to, the real human experience.
To me, lucid dreaming couldn't be perfect. We are inherently flawed and limited with our imagination. We couldn't experience the incredible things that other people can give.
See, but you could say that, but if you've never experienced it, you're talking based on your own capacity, right, Retsu? And I'm talking from that as well, because I can't lucid dream either. However, like doing research based on people who are capable of these types of things. I mean, and it's almost too, it's like people who become addicts. It's like they get used to the sense of euphoria. And then once they're no longer high, it's very difficult to deal with the activities of daily life and like these little minor inconveniences because they lose their ability to cope. So
agreed on IRL experiences. Sock Web reminds that there is a veil. And to experience the best of the human experience is to see the warts and all, in my opinion. Vantage point is heavily affected. Good example is you. I literally couldn't have imagined you, and it literally couldn't be perfect. Also, I can lucid dream actually. I can very clearly tell my limitations in it.
Retsu, that's so sweet. King, thank you so much.
Let's
for the
just
bits.
be happy the police
That's so
can't
sweet.
arrest you for lucid dreams. All the guys in here would be locked up for a long, long time.
Pack, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Like imagine a world where you could subscribe to your own dream bee. I mean, the real bee has challenges, will get old, skins your cat. How many people will want real versus the dream?
Oh, right. And then also too, I mean, whenever it's all fake, I mean, because you don't have to deal with the difficult things. You know, like part of life is like having communication, like putting full trust into somebody who is completely capable of like hurting you the worst, because the people you love the most are the ones who can damage you the hardest. And so it's like whenever you're talking about like reality, I mean, it's like you, in this alternate world, I mean, you can have perfect hair and perfect makeup and a perfect body. And I mean, all these things are just like absolutely perfection. And then if we get to the point where we can actually alter our responses to things, and you can have like these euphoric brain neurotransmitters and so forth, I mean, reality would not be able to be like to work up to that standard. And that's the thing too, I mean, because that is almost like drugs in a sense. I mean, it's insane about once you've experienced something to be able to
TBH, I
revert
think
from
that
it.
addicts are viewed in the wrong light. There was an experiment done with rats where they left the rat in a lonely environment, and the rat willingly took heroin. When the same rat was given compions, it stopped taking it.
Yes. But the thing is too, is they don't have the capacity for free will in the sense that humans do. They do have a basic sense of will. But the also complex side of it too is that our type of mentation through humanity is very difficult as well, because we experience grief and hardships far more than rats are capable of, at least from our current standard of research. You can do something that you can't even stand to look at yourself in the mirror, and the only thing that you can do to take away that pain is to take heroin or something like that, where you begin to feel euphoric, and that's the only place that you feel normal and happy, because existence is pain. You know what I mean? Now, of course, there would always be people who would prefer reality to that type of, like, virtual reality. That's also not to say that at some point the virtual reality won't become such a giant that it is the norm.
Isn't dealing with the difficult things extremely important though? Seek out what matters versus what makes you happy.
Definitely.
Seeing your family suffer in the hospital doesn't make you happy, and you should still go to them.
That's exactly what I mean,
love and trust matter.
That is exactly what I'm talking about. The issue is
we almost are in a transition period for that right now, which is why we have Chad culture. People are used to the fake in social media, and since sex is easy, the grief and hardships, why would anyone sign up for that?
Exactly. Very true. Why struggle if you don't have to?
As much as I hate life, and I do, I wouldn't want to live in a reality that doesn't have the imperfections of what we do have. And to Ratsu's point, I also couldn't have imagined someone who could even hold a candle to be.
Y'all are so sweet.
You said you tried to have lucid dreams but couldn't. What did you try, and did you keep a journal of it all?
I still keep a dream journal. I catalog every dream that I can remember. I don't dream often. I can't recall my dreams often. Obviously not that I don't dream. It's just that I can't recall them, but I actively try to. Now, what you were talking about, Retsu, exactly. I mean, there are these things, because if you have an out, it's almost like a coping mechanism. What ends up happening is whenever you have access to all these types of things, your morals will begin to decay. You start losing your ability to cope with difficult situations because it's like, okay, well, if I can just redo it all, or if I can just like go to another server or something like that, why would you even have to deal with that? You wouldn't have to. I mean, and I feel like a lot of times too that drugs tend to relate to people who do not have very healthy coping mechanisms, and drugs become an outlet of a coping mechanism, which is obviously not conducive to health.
Do you look at psychology journals for dreams, and do you think your dreams get shaped by knowing the defined meaning?
I do not, personally. Kuro, thank you for the bits. I think that a dream is a part of something that's going on in your mind, just like I was saying when I was playing Final Fantasy and I was like deliriously tired, then I dream about people who are like in the FC chat. But do I think that there's like an overarching meaning, that there's like some eagle and this eagle like represents this or that? I personally don't ascribe to that notion. However, I do think that it does have something to say with how you perceive the situation and the situations that you're in. Like, they're all portions of you. You've created it from your own mind, so they're still valid in a sense. But I personally am not the type of person that it's like, you know, this particular thing means this and this particular thing means that. I think it can vary vastly from
So you
person to
still
person.
keep a dream journal. Can you make your latest dream into a script so we can reenact it at BCon 2022 Antisera LUL?
PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's just, I think just as a society, like as a whole, it becomes easy to just say like, screw it. Or it's just like with relationships and stuff like that. It's easy to be like, whatever, like there's a million fish in the sea, like I'm just gonna throw in the towel. And it's like, no, you need to work on the relationship. You need to look at the part that you played in it. You need to try to become a better person, just like they do. I mean, we're all trying to figure this out together. But it's very easy. Like, if you could just escape from it, why wouldn't you, you know?
Moral degradation and tolerance to bad definitely suffers from that. Experiences to hardship builds tolerance, but too much too fast creates trauma. It's such a fine line that we are avoiding things
because they're difficult. Yes, I 100% agree.
I wonder if I'll be able to hack my girlfriend's Neuralink. Tick her off, then just do a refresh. Go back to the previous state. Seriously though, imagine the government being able to make sure that you have approved thoughts.
Yeah, that's very like Psychopaths, that anime, right? It's where even if somebody like hijacked somebody and like held them captive, if that person's mental state is damaged beyond repair per the government, which is awesome. Interesting. I mean, it's all curious. It's all very, very curious. But yes, I mean, I think just as a whole, we have been, I mean, and it's funny too, because if you look like not too long ago, like obviously I love Victorian history and so forth, but it's like if you look back in the past, like when women couldn't show their ankles, they couldn't show all this stuff, and then now you look to the degree of, like, let's say people having OnlyFans. To think that that doesn't affect our morals,
Sometimes
it most
people
certainly
don't
does.
want to adapt to pain, so they choose to run. It's like a diamond, you can't make it without adding pressure. That's how people grow, but in this society, they are afraid of change and not willing to.
There's a song too, I think it's called Soul Burn by Master Plan, and it says like, the world is like a shiny diamond, how it glitters if you polish it right. And I mean, that's kind of like what you said. That yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on your role that you want to play in it, you know? But kind of like what I was going back to saying as well with like history, it's like if you go from having like literally nothing, like you can't show somebody your ankles, and then now you can just pay for OnlyFans and see all this stuff, like you have such a ready access to this type of thing, to think that that's not going to warp your worldview, of course it will. And I mean, just like how in the past, I mean, that would warp your worldview as well, but we have like such an excess to so much, it's, to say that it doesn't affect us at all, I mean, it most certainly does. Most certainly. Yeah, people are losing balance. Definitely. And they've like completely lost moderation, and they've completely lost the ability to say like, this is not right. Just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should. You know?
Agree. We did research in my media company in the impact of the access of things like P-Hub on culture. Like that impacts the chemistry of the brain in a shocking way.
Yes. That's very interesting research, isn't it? I've seen that as well, especially in adolescence.
OnlyFans and Tinder have ruined people's ability to meet and have normally expectations. What happened to if a girl wanna touch your pee-pee on first date she is late? What happened to courting? Taking it slow? Respect.
True.
So when are you
Very
debuting
true.
your of? I am so looking forward to your T-Rex bikini photo shoots.
That would be so funny. Just a complete opposite of OnlyFans. Like, just wear one of those T-Rex suits with the bikinis. I need to do it. That would be hilarious. I feel like it would be so satirical.
There's this quote from Titanfall that I love and use it to this day. We're all running from something. We are either running from the past or running for the future.
I do, hater. You sent it to me. I do have a T-Rex suit. Very true. Very true. But yeah, I mean, it's just very interesting, especially whenever you look at how people change. Because one of the main, like, biological factors of humanity is to procreate and to continue your race. Like, there's something that is ingrained within you to go off and to do these things. So if you're doing something, let's say like OnlyFans or highly explicit content, it's going to affect your brain differently when that is one of the major things you are hardwired to do. Unpleasant, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dex, have you ever done a sleep study before? I have. They actually thought I had narcolepsy once. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's ridiculous. But anyways, I can't believe I talked for this long. I was not expecting to stream this long. This is like a major rant, I guess, that I went on. Lopez, will you build IKEA furniture? That stuff is difficult, man. More power to you, Lopez. I believe in you. I believe in you. And Penny narcolepsy. I know.
You need to
It's
do it of
ridiculous.
where you have a Victorian vibe. You read from Bronte and every once in a while flash your ankles.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. Show my ankle or something like that. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Hater, thank you so much for the 20 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you guys so much for just being here and listening to me just rant about random things. I got on a soapbox today. I was all about that dream. And I was like, I'm gonna tell them about my dream. And then we somehow ended up here on virtual reality and morals and so forth. Messa, thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate you. Once in a while. Yeah, see, I think once a week would be good, for sure. And then the other days we can play games. I think that's good. Pac, thank you so much for the beds. I will be checking it soon. I try to check it like every week. But I shall, Pac, I shall. Messa, would I go to the Mario Land amusement park? Heck yeah, I would, for sure.
So you're saying I should shut down my lonely flans? Hive will be devastated.
Moscow, I didn't see. Thank you so much for the bits, Moscow.
Would you go to
I
the
didn't see
Mario
that.
Land amusement park that's coming to LA next year? Bog Champ.
And I'm also not saying that people who do that stuff are bad. I'm just saying that we cannot say that it does not affect our society, morally speaking. That is the only stance I'm making on it.
Please check your mail soon, smiley face.
Pac, thank you, thank you. I will check it soon. I will check it soon. And again, hater, thank you so much for hitting the sub goal. Freaking epic. I really enjoyed this though. This was super, super fun. Thank you guys so much for being here and to listen to me rant and my crazy, crazy dreams that I have. But I love you guys so much.
This was such a great stream beat, and we need to make that dream into a movie lol.
Hey, I mean, I'm telling you, delirious dreams. All related to Final Fantasy.
There is a cause and effect to everything.
And
Equivalent
a price to
exchange.
Yes.
Something has to be lost to gain XD. Thank you for the stream
Correct.
beat.
And there's a price for everything. Even not making a choice is still a choice.
Dream of me more often, B, please.
Hater, thank you so much for the bits. Because it's like, either it's like, I can go left, or I can go right, or I can choose to do nothing. Each option has a price. And the sad thing is you don't know what the price is whenever you make the decision, or if you're gonna cost something from someone else.
OMG, I can stop listening. You best stream, best chat as always.
Killer, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like maybe the next one too, I'm gonna go into some popular classical philosophy talks. I feel like that would be interesting. We can get into like Socrates or something like that. You don't have to know Socrates. I'll explain it to you in a snippet, but just the overarching themes of it all, and then to go through it and to see you guys' takes on it, because we've all walked all these different walks of life, and everybody's opinion and view on things is completely valid, and I would love to be able to hear you guys' side of it and to have even like a minor baby debate, even if we don't necessarily agree on things. I feel like it would be awesome. So maybe that in the future, we will see. I love you guys so much. Once again, I said I was gonna maybe change up this whole one, and this too, I'm changing so much of like my stream room. I have so much stuff crammed to such a small area. But it's all getting there. I'm getting there. And I'm back, and I will be doing more TikToks as well.
I am a chocolatey Socrates.
Socrates in a skirt, right? Carl, thank you so much for the bits. I appreciate you. But that would be really, really fun. But Eric, thank you so much for the bits.
Your streams are my way of unwinding. I always look forward to them every week.
Mine too. Mine too, Eric. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys help me so much. Just relax. You guys are absolutely amazing. But yeah, I will get back to TikToks. Every time I try to do one, I'm telling you, something always crazy ends up befalling me. And this most recent one was this whole police fiasco and so forth. But I will get back to it. I am back. I am working on a lot of stuff. I'll get this whole just chatting thing done, because once again, like I said, I haven't changed anything really, but I feel like a lot of times you don't like fully see my face, you know what I mean, like if I'm here. But anyways, I enjoyed it a lot. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for being here and spending time with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow.